This is the oath of office guide. First, you just press play. You have to select names and character names. All of these stay the same, sadly, except clothing. You have to unlock these in-game. Everything you buy in the store is permanent. These are obtained through badges, which will be shown right here on the screen. I personally like this because it's all rounded. So I'm going to give a full rundown on how the GUI works. This is the player list. This is the time of day. Every line here is a block which will start an event. This is to change your job. This is your political party. And these stats will determine how far you get in primaries. This shows you news broadcasts. This shows you events and it lets you teleport to anywhere in the game. This is where you have to pick decisions in order to boost your stats right here. Then there are global stats which are made so other people can scold you about them when you're president. Then here just gives you electoral votes and what you need to do for polling. And this is usually where you're placed against other party members to see who would be running as president. Then this is just what you wear and what you've done in one session. So as soon as you get in the game though, you should pick a political party that you can get good stats in easily. Then pick one of these in the legislative branch, any representative seat, and senator seat is sadly 400 Robux and you cannot get it for free. So when you get into the House or Senate, you must draft up legislation, which all of these do something to the global stats, but more importantly it influences your polls, depending if you vote for or against them, and you get something called primary points every time it passes. So if it passes in the House, Senate, and President, you get 600 points. And also, depending on your position in the government, such as Senate or Representative, you will get more points per second when you are in a role compared to the President. When you're in President, you get a lot of primary points. So before I move on to other branches of the government, I'll go briefly over roles that play a smaller part in the roleplay, such as security and military, which is only a roleplay option that just lets you yap. Along with press, you need to buy a Game Pass if you want a news channel that'll appear live here when there's people, compared to the free news jobs which do not have a news channel at all. Party staff gives you little credits to influence the election. So if I pick this and go to my decisions, I can do campaign ads, which are gained every block. So you can just do an attack ad, which will increase your polling for you technically, or you can do a support ad, which will increase your support for the poll you selected. So then there's the Board of Governors, which is a Game Pass only job, which gives you the ability to sign bills which influence the economy, shown here in the screen. Now being a chairperson does not give you anything good, it's just a title that lets you sit in a chair. Before the executive branch, I will showcase the judicial branch. Being a judge is a Game Pass, however being a lawyer isn't. You get to oversee all the cases and argue for which one the judge will pick. Now, you have 5 people who can win cases that you want to win and go into your interests instead of the other case. And then there are judges, which directly just pick who the case goes to. And you have to pick by 7 a.m. because in a few seconds this will disappear. So however, being a district judge lets you be promoted by the president to a associate or chief justice Supreme Court judge. which gets you higher ranks on the Supreme Court and I assume a higher primary ranking. If you're brought to the Supreme Court as a Chief or Associate Justice, you can basically bypass the Game Pass restriction to become a judge. However, you need to get through the Senate, unlike just becoming a judge for DC, which is smaller, yet you don't need to pay money for it. So finally, we have the second most important branch in my opinion, which is the executive branch, which allows you to influence the global stats and the economy greatly. However, anything with this behind it does not let you do any decision other than advising the president to pick something or helping the president run errands and tell people to do their job. And the president cannot assign these when they're not deputy. They have to be assigned by the White House Chief of Staff, which is assigned by the president. However, all of these get decisions as seen right here. You have a working group which all the deputies will vote on to pick. I do not know if this influences polls, however, picking your issue will influence polling quite a bit. And you can look at department issues, which is done by your non-deputy, the regular secretary, and headlines for all your undersecretaries, which you have to scold in order to pick what you want or the president wants. Now this applies to all of the executive branches, such as Secretary of State. Now some of these have more undersecretaries than others, such as the Attorney General only having the Deputy Attorney General. However, the Deputy Secretary of Interior has 4 other jobs that come after you pick it, such as the Secretary of Interior for Wildlife, Indian Affairs, and Land and Resources, which lets you do decisions all related to the department and what its role is, and it repeats for the rest. So if you are promoted to secretary instead of a deputy secretary, you can meet with the president. You get the same regular issue. However, you can start a vote to impeach the president. If the entire cabinet agrees, they'll get out and the vice president will replace them. Now I will show all the undersecretaries of the executive branch by each. Show in the middle of the screen Secretary of Treasury. These are the jobs from Secretary of State. These are the jobs from Secretary of Interior. These are the jobs from Homeland Security. These are the jobs from Secretary of Defense. These are the jobs from Secretary of Commerce. And these are the jobs from White House staff. Now, as president, you have to oversee everything, all the court cases, what your secretaries do. However, not what the undersecretaries do. That's their job to fix things. This is the House agenda if there were bills. Then there are personnel. All these are appointed through the Senate unless there is a undersecretary ready to take the job, such as you can just press this button and they're here. And you can only fire one of these people a day by just pressing the fire button. Just like that, making them jobless. Then this is the president desk where you sign the bills that are passed in Congress, which you should definitely do. Yeah, and that's it on how to play the game. If you have any questions, just ask me in the comments.